for today, we're going to be looking at the continuation from our last topic, which is going to be on material balance, which we have recycle, bypass, and purge. So the first thing that we'll be looking at is recycle. So the definition of recycle system is a system that includes one or more recycle streams, meaning that a stream where some portion of the outlet of the process is combined with the fresh feed and sent into the same unit again. So recycle is basically when you have a product, so some of the product you recycle back to your feed and you combine back to your feed. And we will have recycle in almost every reaction system. Okay, right? We will look at this after this. But this is just an example for you how recycle happens in nature, right? So for example, let's say you have a body of water, let's say a lake, right? So when there's sun here, okay, let's say this is your sun. When you have sun, the sun will heat up the surface of this water, and then the surface of the water, because of accepting the radiation from the sun, it will be converted into water vapor, right? So this is water vapor. So evaporation will happen, will cause the water vapor formation. Water vapor will combine to make the cloud, and this cloud will become rain, and the rain will be coming back into the lake again. So this is what we call, so basically rain is your product, and some of the rain will go here and some of the rain will be recycled back into your lake. So that is why we see there is a lot of recycle happening in our natural environment. But for us, in our chemical processes, so for example, let's say this is your normal process, right, where you have two feed. Let's say this is your A, this is your B. Will go into a process. It can be a mixing process, it can be a drying process, it can be a reaction. Okay, doesn't matter. It's just that this is a process, and after that you'll form some products, right? So far we have looked at this, and this is what we call a single unit process. And then after we have looked at single unit process, we looked at multiple unit process, where you have more than one unit, right? So again, this is your feed A and B. So first of all, it'll go to process 1, where some reaction or mixing or separation will happen. We give you product. So let's say this is your P1, and after you have gotten your P1, it will go to another process where additional process will happen, and then you have your final product, right? So this is single unit operation, this is multiple unit operation. Now when you have a recycle, so this is how your recycle stream will look like. When you have your product, so this is fresh feed, right? From this point on, right, from here, this is what we call fresh feed. So your fresh feed initially will be going into your process 1. This is your A and B. Let's say this is A and B again. You will go to process 1. It will produce some product P1 similar to here, and then it will go to your process 2. And in this process 2, when you have recycle, you will have, okay, product from process 1 is separated in process 2 into the products. Okay, this is your product, this is what you want, and into a recycle stream. So this is your recycle stream. So this is, as we define, a portion of your product is recycled back into your feed. Okay, so this is the definition of recycle. Now, why we do recycle? So there are a lot of reasons for it. So the reason the recycle stream, the recycle stream is mixed with the fresh feed, and combination is fed to process 1. So once you have a recycle, whatever is recycled, you will combine with your fresh feed. So again, So this one is your fresh feed and this one is your combined feed, or we can say it is your gross feed. So we can put here G. So now in this G you will have whatever initial A and B plus whatever it is from the process. So why do we have our recycle? So first of all, if you look at a reactive system, most of the time almost all reaction will not go to completion, right? When we say the reaction will not go to completion, meaning that there will always be some kind of conversion, right? We can say that conversion is 60%, conversion is 80%. So for example, let's say we look at a reactive system, right? So this is your reactor. You have your stream coming in, A and B, and then you have your product, let's say it's C. Okay, so when we say if you have a reactive system, we will decide first which one is our limiting reactant, which one our excess reactant. So let's say that A is our limiting reactant and the conversion of A is 60% only. Meaning that if A is only converting 60%, so in your product you will have C, definitely your product, but you will also have unreacted A and unreacted B. Now in chemical reaction and in most chemical processes, this is not good. Okay, we don't want our C, our A and B in our product. Why? Because this is, first of all, we want high purity of our product C. Okay, we want almost all product C. And the second reason is that A and B will be wasted because this is expensive reactant. So we want whatever unreacted to go back into our reaction, so that we will have more generation of C and we will not be wasting our A and B. So again here, unconsumed reactant is wasted resources. So this is what we call unconsumed reactant. So we don't want this one because we don't want to waste our resources. We will recycle back whatever that is unreacted, whatever is unused, back into our feed. So we will combine with our fresh feed and we'll put again into the reactor. So we'll get more our product. So the next thing is that why we do recycle is that to separate the unconsumed reactant and recycle back to the feed, right? So we can do separation, and this process, recycle process, can also be done for non-reactive system. So it does not mean that we can only have recycle for reactive system. We can also have recycle for non-reactive system. So this is an example of a recycle that we use in this one is called fluidized catalytic cracking. Okay, so this is more of you have it in our oil and gas plant. So this one we are not recycling our unreacted product, but this one is an example of we are recycling our catalyst. Okay, so when we have a reaction, so usually in our reaction, this is our reactor, all these things is our catalyst, and then we'll have our gas oil will react with the help of the catalyst and will produce product. And sometimes because we have the catalyst can occur deactivation of catalyst. So when this deactivation occur, this catalyst will no longer be able to help to increase the reaction rate. So what will happen is that after the catalyst is deactivated, we name them the spent catalyst. We send them to a catalyst regenerator. So we regenerate back the catalyst. So we are not throwing away the catalyst again. Catalyst will be expensive. So if we can regenerate, we can reactivate the catalyst. We'll send the spent catalyst to the catalytic regenerator, where it will be regenerated usually by heat or pressure depending on the type of catalyst that you have. So the regenerated catalyst will be put back into your reactor to help with the reaction. So this is also a type of recycle process. Okay, and then if you look at your recycle, right, if you look at this one what we call is our splitting or separation process, and this one is our mixing process. So the same thing here, I have labeled it, it's something like this, right? So this is your feed coming in into the system, and then this is your process. And when you have your process, you will have, if you want to do recycle, you have to separate some of your product and you combine with your fresh feed. So when you separate your product, when you want to separate your product, you will have a separator, and then the separator will produce two streams. One is your net product, one is your recycle stream. The recycle stream will go back and we want to combine with our fresh feed here. So in order for us to combine, we will have a mixer. So we will have a separator, mixer, and a process. So that is why for a recycle stream, we always say that it is a multi-unit process. Now this process here can be a dryer, a mixer again, a reactor, whatever it is. But when you want to do a recycle, you will always have additional separator and additional mixer. So when we are looking at this, for a recycle, I will definitely have at least 3 unit operation. One for mixer, one for the process, and one for the separator. Now in between here, I can have more than one. So that depends on your process. So the overall system will include the process of interest, which is this one. This is the process of interest. A separation process to obtain the recycle stream, right? This is your separation process, right? Your separator. A mixing point where the fresh stream is mixed with the recycle stream. So before this, before the mixer, this is what we call your fresh feed. Whatever coming into your system is the fresh feed. After the mixing point, after the mixer, whatever coming out of the mixer is your gross feed. So that's why you need to have a mixing point. And a very important point is that material circulates without any accumulation, meaning that whatever you have, let's say you have fresh feed coming in, and then you have your, so initially, let's say at time equal to 0, when you want to start your reaction, when you want to start your process, there will not be any recycle yet. So there will be a fresh feed going into the mixer, but there is nothing to mix, so it will just go through your process. And then after the process is done, this is your gross process. So now you will have a gross product where you will need to separate some into recycle and some into your net product. So this is the first time recycle will happen. So some of the product, the separated product, will go into the mixer. Now your feed is always continuous. So now after a few time has passed, now you will have feed and your recycle, and then it will mix, will become your gross product. Now this gross feed will go into the process and you will get again your gross product, and then the same thing will happen. Now the same thing will happen until you have satisfied with the process. But since we say that it is always going to be in steady state, there will never be accumulation in your system. So this is very important. That's why when we are dealing with our material balance, if you remember the equation, input plus generation minus output minus consumption is equal to accumulation. This is our general equation. But since we say that for reactive system, for non-reactive system, and now for a recycle system, there will no be accumulation, so it is equal to 0. So you want to decide whether you have generation term or consumption term is based on whether the system is reactive or non-reactive. But this will always, accumulation will always equal to 0. There will not be accumulation in your system. The only thing that you need to understand for your recycle system is that what is the definition of recycle system. Okay, so we have looked at the definition. Recycle system is just that when you have a additional stream coming out from your product and recycle back into your feed. And then the next thing is that you have to understand that it is a multi-unit process where you will have a mixer, a process of interest, and a separation. And in a recycle system, you can have it for reactive and non-reactive processes. And you must always make sure that, understand that there is not going to be any accumulation in your recycle system.